Now we've a look at the ITV News headlines where you are.
Hello, I'm Faye Barker. This is ITV News London. A man's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman died in East London. Police were called to Earlham Grove in Newham just before midday yesterday after concerns were raised over the welfare of a resident. A woman in her 20s was found dead and a 26-year-old man was arrested at the scene. A man's been charged with the murder of a man in Peckham. Jabari Goodham was stabbed outside a barber's shop 10 days ago in the middle of the afternoon. The 27-year-old died in hospital. Mamadou Lamine Fall is charged with his murder. 2 others are charged with perverting the course of justice. 2 people have been released on bail until January after a toddler was found wandering alone on a street in Basildon just before Christmas. Police were called on the 21st of December to Gladwyns after the 2-year-old boy was found alone. A 39-year-old man and a 44-year-old woman were arrested on suspicion of child neglect. Rail travel is being disrupted because of planned engineering works. There are no Chiltern trains to or from London Marylebone. There are also no Southern Railway trains to and from Victoria until the 3rd of January. Train services between Euston and parts of the East Midlands are also reduced. And on the Underground, commuters can also expect disruption due to planned closures. Now, across the West End this year, sales are down by half compared to before the pandemic. And it's even worse news this Christmas with shoppers shunning the high street. Numbers were down by around 60% today, as Sam Holder reports.
Oxford Street, Regent Street, virtually empty this morning. Omicron keeping the post-Christmas crowds away. Over the past year, sales in the West End have been down by half compared to 2019.
Certainly Central London has really borne the brunt of COVID the entire period. You know, the footfall has dropped in London by more than anywhere else in the UK.
By early afternoon, 60% fewer shoppers were out than on this day in 2019. November's figures had been good, some days higher than before the pandemic, but Omicron came at the worst possible time. Of course, this comes after last year Christmas was essentially cancelled under Tier 4 restrictions, so businesses here were desperate for some form of bounce back. The new West End company, which represents 600 businesses, says COVID may change shopping habits forever.
I think we're moving away from the big Boxing Day sales of the past. It's now about the experience of retail. It's about customers staying longer. It's about the food and beverage and the cultural offers. So I think as the West End comes out of COVID, we're going to see a pivot to perhaps fewer shoppers, but spending longer when they're here.
The immediate fear is that further COVID restrictions could see a further drop in shoppers. You're out shopping today. If the government brought in any more restrictions, would you still come out?
I don't think so, just to keep myself safe. Because if they do bring up restrictions, it means the COVID cases are rising.
Okay. At the end of the day, I'm just going to do whatever makes us all safer.
If we can come out, we will.
We do try to be careful.
With a little shopping. Yeah.
So whatever happens, you'll be out shopping?
Yeah. Of course, yeah. You will find us here in Oxford Circus.
Those working in the West End are banking on Omicron being short and sharp, hoping for a fresh start in the new year, but expecting spring 2022 to be when central London really recovers. Sam Holder, ITV News.
Now let's take a look at the day's sport.
Small businesses and local teams, the heart of our communities. eBay sponsors ITV Regional Sport Reports.
Harlequins women faced Wasps FC ladies earlier, winning 29-5. The men's team are currently playing against Northampton Saints. And in football, Queen's Park Rangers will take on Bournemouth in just over 15 minutes' time in the Championship. It's a bit damp out there today, wasn't it? Here's Chris Page now with the weather forecast.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello there. Very good afternoon to you. I hope you've enjoyed the festive period so far, and for many though, we've still seen some cloudy skies, outbreaks of rain through much of today too. And as we go through the rest of this evening and overnight, it's still going to stay like that. The cloud remaining in control, outbreaks of rain here and there, misty and a little murky at times too, with some low cloud over the tops of the hills, but the breeze starting to strengthen by dawn. And as we start into Tuesday, it means that temperatures will be around 9 to 10 degrees Celsius. So it's a mild start for tomorrow morning, still with those raindrops around first thing, a rather wet and damp start to the day, cloudy for many of us, the wind strengthening by the afternoon as the rain gradually begins to fizzle its way out later. But it will be a mild day, temperatures around 9 to 11 degrees Celsius, that's 52 in Fahrenheit. As we leave Tuesday and go into Wednesday, we've got another weather front moving in from the south and the west. That will drive in some heavy rain on Wednesday, but entangled up in here is some very mild air. In fact, exceptionally mild for the time of year, which means that as we go through the rest of this year and into the start of the new year, temperatures are well above average. We have outbreaks of rain at first, but I'm hopeful it will turn drier and a little brighter on Friday and Saturday. Bye-bye.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
And that's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow at 2:20. Until then, bye-bye.